Plant-based cheese, two words that should never have met. Yet here we are, staring at a rubbery, fluorescent slab of dairy-free deception, trembling on the supermarket shelf like it knows it shouldn't exist. Cathedral City, the beloved purveyor of rich, creamy cheddar, has betrayed everything it once stood for by slapping its name on a vegan cheese imposter. Eddie Abu saw it. Eddie Abu recoiled in horror. And if you've ever had the misfortune of encountering one of these processed monstrosities, you probably had the same reaction. Let's be clear, plant-based cheese is not food. It is an industrial experiment, a Frankenstein's monster stitched together from coconut oil, starch, emulsifiers, and the desperation of people who miss real cheese but have sworn off dairy. It exists in that strange twilight zone where corporations try to reinvent a perfectly good thing, failing spectacularly in both taste and nutrition. The ingredient list reads like a dystopian recipe. Rehydrated starch, modified coconut oil, a cocktail of gums and stabilizers to keep the whole thing from collapsing into itself. If the name cheese wasn't stamped on the front, you'd assume it was some kind of non-toxic sealant. It doesn't melt, it doesn't stretch, it doesn't behave like food. It sits there defiant, as if daring you to question its right to exist. This is where the real tragedy sets in. Because the people eating this stuff are often the ones who care about what they put in their bodies. Many vegans and lactose-intolerant folks choose their diets for health reasons. And yet, to replace one of the most naturally crafted foods in existence, they're offered this ultra-processed nightmare, a product so far removed from its inspiration that it might as well be an AI-generated hallucination of what cheese once was. And Cathedral City, oh, they knew exactly what they were doing. They took their legacy, their reputation, and they cashed it in for a slice of the plant-based trend. Because that's what this is, really, trend chasing, not nutrition, not sustainability, not even ethics. Just profit wrapped in plastic. They don't care that their dairy-free abomination has the mouthfeel of damp cardboard. They don't care that it tastes like disappointment and broken dreams. They care that there's a market for it. The worst part is the paradox of it all. If someone doesn't want to eat dairy, why on earth would they want to consume something designed to mimic it? The entire premise is absurd. Imagine a lifelong vegetarian licking the outside of a sausage just to reminisce. If you don't want cheese, just don't eat cheese. There are plenty of other foods that offer umami, richness, and depth without trying to congeal oils and starches into an unholy imitation of the real thing. But no, we live in an age where everything must be replaced with a heavily processed, lab-concocted alternative. Because food corporations have figured out that people will buy absolutely anything if it's marketed the right way. They took cheese, stripped it of its essence, crammed it full of chemicals, and sold it back to people as a healthier choice. And they got away with it. So what's the alternative? If dairy is off the menu, should you suffer in silence? Not necessarily. There are plant-based cheeses out there that actually undergo fermentation, that use real food processes instead of brute-forcing texture and taste with industrial wizardry. But you won't find those in the supermarket fridge next to Cathedral City's lump of existential despair. You'll have to go looking for them. Or, and this is just a wild suggestion, you could embrace foods that aren't desperately pretending to be something else. Because that's the real issue here. This isn't about dietary choices, it's about the illusion of them. If you want cheese, eat cheese. If you don't want cheese, eat something else. But this processed, starch-filled, flavorless paradox, it's not a solution. It's an insult to dairy, an insult to vegans, and above all, an insult to anyone who still believes that food should taste like something other than regret. Cheers.